Hello everyone, this is NecroStevo and you're watching my 9th narrated Wi-Fi battle. Now this is a battle that I had against Cote1616pb. He's actually another YouTuber, so be sure to check out his channel. We had a Mixtier battle, and I start off with Glade, he starts off with Donphan, expecting the Stealth Rocks. I switch out to my Celestria, which is my Weezing, my physical wall. And he does set up the Stealth Rocks. I know that Weezing walls Donphan pretty well. Normally they carry Rapid Spin, Ice Shard, Earthquake, and Stealth Rock. So I just went for the Will-O-Wisp, hoping to burn it and neuter it. He makes a great prediction, and he goes into his Arcanine, which means he's not going to get Will-O-Wisp. Fortunately, it's not a Flash Fire one, but since it's Intimidate, I'm assuming it's more bulky. And I go out into my Aosagi, which is my Choice Banded Azumarill, to scare him out. But he goes for the Sunny Day. And here I wasn't really sure to expect. Arcanine does have the stats to run Mix, so maybe a Solar Beam. But that's a little bit risky in today's weather-based meta game. But he makes a switch back out into Cat Puke here. And then just wanting to get in some damage on that Arcanine, I go for the Aqua Jet. I kind of saw that Azumarill was pretty bulky, and I didn't think he could one-shot it without using a boosting move of some sort. But I know that Tangrowth normally carries the Leech Seed, maybe the Power Whip and the Sleep Powder of some sort. I have a Tangrowth of my own, so I'm pretty familiar with the set. So I go out into Behemoth, my favorite Pokemon, Venusaur. This is actually my specially defensive one. I have several different Venusaurs that I use. And that works out pretty well because he goes for the Leech Seed, and that doesn't work on grass types. Here, I haven't seen any Steel types so far, so I believe I just go straight for the Sludge Bomb. Tangrowth has much weaker special defense than its great physical defense. So I was assuming I could hit something with the Sludge Bomb and do a decent amount of damage. He goes back on into Arcanine, which is good for him because the sun is still up, and he can threaten me out with the fire attack, but I do a decent amount of damage to him with the Sludge Bomb, and I get the chance for poison there. I actually poison him, but it doesn't matter because he has a Lumberry. So that works out. I do burn his Lumberry, but it really doesn't end up mattering in the end there. So I think he has one more turn of Sun left here, and seeing that he used Sunny Day before, I'm just actually going to switch back out into my Azumarill again. I think the sun's about to run out, so I was thinking as soon as the sun ran out, his attack powers will go down. He hits me with the Flare Blitz. It's still sun boosted, but since Azumarill is so bulky, I take that pretty well for that being sun boosted and Flare Blitz coming from an Arcanine. Plus, I'm max HP, so he's going to take a decent amount of recoil damage from it as well, which is nice. Now that the sun is down, I'm sure that I can kill him with an Aqua Jet. And he just stayed in there. He probably... I'm not actually sure why he stayed in there. Maybe he thought I'd over-predict, perhaps. But Arcanine carries extreme speed as well, so I'm not sure what he was doing there. But he made some good plays earlier, so I'm sure he had some good reason for it. He brings out his Gyarados, gets some, and I'm a little bit worried when I see this. We were playing Mixtier, so this is one of the OUs he brought. I actually had an OU, and I had a Borderline, which was my Glade. But fortunately, Weezing walls Gyarados pretty well unless it starts boosting up. And so I bring in Weezing immediately so that I can go ahead and burn it in case he does boost up. But he goes straight for the Earthquake. And he probably did that because it's neutral on Venusaur and it will work on something else that I brought in. He probably wasn't expecting Weezing to switch in right there. But I just, once again, the burn is the best thing to go for, so I go for it, and I'm able to hit his other OU, this Zapdos, which is nice, because since he's going to take damage from burn, I get to see what kind of Zapdos it is. If it's leftovers, it's bulky. If no item, it could be choiced, maybe, or even Life Orb. So here, I don't see any item on it, so I'm thinking it's some type of more offensive set. So I go back out into my special wall expecting the Thunderbolt, which he does go for. I take a little bit of Stealth Rocks damage there. And even though I resist this Thunderbolt, this is a max HP, max special defense Venusaur. And that didn't really do anything. Knowing that, I figured I could just stay in, Leech Seed. I knew he might carry the Heat Wave, but based on him using the leftovers right there, I know it's bulky now, for sure. And I knew I could probably handle whatever he wanted to throw at me. So that gives me the opportunity to just use Leech Seed on it. Or Sludge Bomb if I wanted to. Here he uses the Heat Wave. He does hit, so fortunate for him. I tend to miss those 90 accuracy moves, and that's always annoying. But he hits, so props to him. I just go for the Sludge Bomb to get some damage in on it. If he's bulky, I think I was expecting him to have maybe Thunder Wave and Roost, and a lot of Zapdos to have leftovers using Sub Roost. So I'm just kind of trying to feel out what type of Zapdos this is, because they're very versatile. They can have a lot of different sets. So knowing that I can't take a second Heat Wave, now is a good time for me to switch back out. And I'm actually going to go into Gallade again, knowing that I can take the special attacks with this pretty nice natural special defense. And they're both going to be neutral, so even if you use Thunderbolt, since he is a more bulky set, I'm going to take it pretty well. It was a little risky switching out there. He could have burned me, which would have been really bad for my Gallade, but fortunately he doesn't burn me. I switched out because I had the Stone Edge, which can hit the Zapdos, and it can hit the Gyarados if he tries to switch out, predicting an Ice Punch or something like that. And he actually goes into a Shedinja, which would have been great, because I used Stone Edge, and it would have hit it and made him use up that Focus Sash that he's probably holding, but I miss. He uses Protect just to scout out to see what I'm going to do, or to waste more Stone Edge PP, but I go for the Shadow Sneak, just to not waste Stone Edge and to make sure I finish it off, and kill that Sash that it's holding. But here I just switch back out into Weezing, because I know that there's pretty much nothing a Shedinja can do to a Weezing. I think this was a double switch, and he goes back out into his Donphan. And based on the last series of plays, he tried to switch out to his Arcanine when I tried to burn him. So I was expecting him to switch again to expecting the burn, but he just goes for the Ice Shard, and I'm not completely sure why. He may have been predicting my Venusaur switch in, because I haven't really shown any moves with Weezing besides Will-O-Wisp thus far. So I went for the Fire Blast, thinking that he would switch to something else that wouldn't mind the burn. That's not too bad. Donphan has pretty bad special defense. Weezing's special attack is average, but that does a fair quarter. Pretty decent amount of damage that coming from a Weezing. Weezing's typing Poison means it's only weak against the ground and the psychic attacks, and since he has Levitate, makes him a great physical wall, because he doesn't need to take special attacks anyway, so it's easy to switch out of those. But here he goes back out into Zapdos. I went for the Thunderbolt. I was expecting a switch, although I didn't know to what. So I just went for the Thunderbolt because I knew he hadn't seen it yet, and I was really hoping to catch the Gyarados switching in on the Fire Blast, but he made a good play there and went out into Zapdos. And I don't want Weezing taking special attacks, so he will force me out here, and I'll have to go back out into something that can handle that. That means I can either really go to Gallade, or I can go out into my Behemoth again. So I go back out into Gallade, knowing that I can pretty much, again, take whatever attack he wants to throw at me. He actually goes for the Roost, so that confirms what I thought earlier. And that works out. I get my Gallade in for relatively free damage. I take a little bit of Stealth Rocks, not too big of a deal. Since the burn brings him back down a little bit more, I was fairly confident that I could take him out with a Life Orb Stone Edge. This is a jolly max attack Gallade with Life Orb. Stone Edge just has really good overall coverage. Sometimes I get walled by things when I don't have the hidden power. I mean, not the hidden power, but the Ice Punch. But generally, I've found that Stone Edge is better, because most people expect the Ice Punch. So as long as you carry the right team support, Stone Edge works out a little better. And here, it cleanly takes out that Zapdos, no critical hit needed, which is fantastic, because Zapdos can be a big pain to take down, and here you kind of see why Gallade was borderline back and forth gym, because he's able to pack that punch. But here he brings back out Tangrowth, and it's obviously more physical wall variant, so I don't want to leave Gallade in there. And I go out in my Venusaur, expecting the Leaf Seed, but I think he makes a double switch, and he goes out into his Gyarados. And what did I go for? I may have gone for Sludge Bomb? I think I go for Sludge Bomb on the next turn. We shall see, with bated breath. No, he goes with the Stone Edge and he gets the crit. That's right. I really did think I could have lived this without the crit. It doesn't matter that much in the long run. I'm just sad to see my favorite Pokemon go down, but since I had max HP and he hadn't boosted up at all, he is Life Orb though. So, you know, maybe 50-50. I'd have to run a calc on that. But I do know Weezing walls it, and maybe I should have just switched out to Weezing in the first place, because seeing how much this waterfall does to Weezing, if I had switched out Venusaur to Weezing in the first place, then I would have just been sitting pretty. Because that does a great chunk, but I get to burn him. And I think he was just trying to get in some damage there on Weezing. Now, I know that he's either going to keep attacking or he's going to switch. Those are the only things he can do. And the best thing here to do, if he attacks, he's going to have more HP than me, and if he switches, he's going to bring in something with more HP than me. So I went for the Pain Split. And that's great because I catch the Tangrowth on the switch, which has full HP. And Tangrowth has a pretty decent HP stat. So I get almost completely back up to full health off the Pain Split. And that brings him down by a good quarter, maybe a fifth of his health there. So that worked out very well. My Weezing is back healthy again, and I got his Gyarados burn, basically neutering it. I was kind of wondering what this Tangos could do to me. I didn't really want my Weezing put to sleep because that's how I was going to handle the other Pokemon I've seen, but I just figured I'd go for the Fire Blast to see what he'd switch into, and he doesn't switch, which kind of surprised me. I guess he really wanted to get off his next move here because he thought he could take whatever I was going to throw at him. And that Fire Blast almost kills. Not even a crit, but Tangro's special defense is not the best. He misses the Leech Seed on that move there. And I don't think that mattered here, because he would have just gotten a little bit more recovery and then protected and got a little bit more, and then my Weezing would have been at lower health. But he still would not have had enough HP to survive a Fire Blast. So I guess it would have given him some utility on another switch-in, perhaps, to give support to whatever was coming in next. But even with that, I don't think it mattered. But predicting him to go for another move, I actually went for the Will-O-Wisp again to counteract him getting Leech Seed healing if he got it off, or even just his own leftovers. But he switches back out to Gyarados, I guess, predicting that, and he goes for Stone Edge. With Gyarados being burned, that doesn't do really any damage, and even if he hadn't been burned, double what damage that did, and that would not have done much. I just finished him off with a Thunderbolt here. That's the second time he's seen it, and Gyarados was kind of death fodder after I burned it anyway, unless he has a way of healing it in the form of Heal Bell or Aromatherapy. So I have taken out basically 2 Pokemon so far with Weezing, so Weezing is so far the MVP of this match. Tangrowth comes back out and he uses Protect. I guess he was just trying to waste the PP on my Fire Blast, but I predicted that and I went for the Will-O-Wisp. I think at this point I only had 1 or 2 Fire Blasts remaining and I didn't want to waste them. So I went for the Will-O-Wisp. I figured if he protected, no big deal if I waste that, but if he didn't, then I could also counteract his leftovers, any Leech Seed recovery he gets up. I missed that Fire Blast, which would have obviously killed him. And he does get off a Leech Seed. And this is where you'll see that earlier it didn't really matter that he missed it, because here he does get it off, and he does get some recovery. That means, yes, he's going to protect on the next turn to get even more recovery from my Weezing. Weezing doesn't have that much HP, but mine is max HP, max defense. So he gets up right around maybe a little bit less than half there. And I just go for the Fire Blast again. And that, based on the damage that did the first time when he was almost at a good 80% health, he's much lower this time, so it's going to take him out very cleanly. This was a pretty good battle. No real game-changing critical hits or misses or paralyzes or anything like that. So I really enjoyed this match, and I was really happy that Cote took the time to battle me. He brings back out Shedinja. Shedinja probably still had the Focus Sash in place, but I just go for the Will-O-Wisp because if I went for Fire Blast, then I would need to go for 2 Fire Blasts, and that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Shedinja's attacking moves aren't really that varied to go up against a Weezing, and he hits me with the X-Scissor and it doesn't really do anything. I actually heal more HP than he did. And then he gets back something like 700% recovery from the Leech Seed there, but it actually, unfortunately, does not matter because he only has 1 HP, and he's gonna die from the burn. That may be the only time I've ever fought a Shedinja. Maybe I fought one other, but Shedinja's a weird Pokemon. And his last is Donphan, which I Will-O-Wisp there just to kind of seal the victory. And now that he's neutered, he really can't do anything. He goes for Rapid Spin for the lulz, but at this point the battle is over because I still have my Scizor, my Gallade, I still have my Magmortar, and I still have my Azumarill. So Donphan was kind of up against an army there at the end, and there wasn't much he could have done about it, which is a little unfortunate for Donphan. But I had a great time with this battle. 4th Gen is always interesting. I'm just going to keep this team on my 4th Gen card probably and use it because it has all my favorite Pokemon in it. But Cote, thank you for the battle. You guys make sure to check out his channel. Like this battle if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to check out my Twitter and my Facebook pages. And be sure to keep enjoying my content. I will see you all later. Cote, thank you again for the battle. Bye now.